Korejma here. Welcome back to my channel with another video review on a book, and this time it will be a book Wicca by Harmony Nice that came to the bookshelves in the year 2018. Originally, I wanted to talk about this book together with another two books and kind of make some kind of a comparison among them or between them. And the next books were Witchery by Juliet Diaz and Witch, Unleashed, Untamed, Unapologetic by Lisa Lister. I decided though, after reading Witchery and Wicca, that I would like to give each of them one specific separate video, as well as the Witch book. If I will finish it, I would like to make another video about that as well. What I love on all of these books is that they are quite fresh. They all came to our bookstores in the year 2017, 18 and 19. They are new books, so they have that kind of vibe of the modern world and the modern practicing of witchcraft. As well, what's the same for all of them is that each of them has something kind of sparkly on or metallic on their covers. Here in Wicca are these beautiful leaves in a kind of copper color. Then we have here in Witchery a bit of golden leaves, and Witch, which was the first of these three books that aired, this one came in 2017, is written in silver. So all of these books have this lovely thing in common, and then the first two letters of the name. Anyway, this Wicca, A Modern Guide to Witchcraft and Magic by Harmony Nice was actually quite surprising book for me. As you might know, Harmony Nice is a YouTuber, and witchy aesthetics that is everywhere through her channel. You can see it really well, that her witchcraft online is very focused on the aesthetic part as well, and on the atmosphere of the videos and the makeup and basically everything, as well as her Instagram. I would not expect the book to be so kind of brief, straightforward, pointing to the right places, and in the same time going quite in depth for the beginner practitioner. I made my notes with the pencil through the whole book, so I will be going by them and talking about each chapter. But for the start, I wrote down here a good starting book for modern eclectic Wicca witch practice. Published 2018 by a YouTuber, and I totally love its illustrations. I might show you some during the video. Anyway, Harmony Nice is writing right in the introduction of this book that she was mainly influenced by Scott Cunningham, and in the end of this book she also recommends 4 books, and 3 of them are by Scott Cunningham. So I would need a little bit more resources and the base literature to write a book like this, but in the same time I can see that Scott Cunningham has like his own kind of way of Wicca that works for eclectic practitioners, and that is completely valid. And in the same time, Harmony Nice actually adds loads of more in her book, loads of information on one specific area that you will not find in the old books. And this area is area of self-care, relationships, mental health, kindness, all this bunch of stuff of having some kind of balance of the peace of your mind and peace of your soul, which I totally love. And that's another reason why I would recommend this book. Not only because of its giving all the information, the basic information that you need to start your practice, but also because of there's this part which is very human, which I very much like. So here we are starting with the first chapter with the introduction, Wicca for a Modern World. She's basically writing here to be careful about the internet misinformation, to try to be as authentic as possible, to not to copy people, with which she obviously has so much experience as a YouTuber or as a successful YouTuber, and to live the experience, to live your own life, and to live the way you would like to. And then we are starting with the first part, where she's just dividing or adding some definition on the difference between Wicca, witchcraft and paganism. Also very important for the beginner practitioners. Then there's a little bit on divination and on different ways with which you can find something about your future or something about your soul. Then the third part or third chapter of the first part is about nature. She writes here literally, the earth owes us nothing, and that's something that I totally love. And her approach to nature in general is very lovely and very kind and very careful. 3/4 law, morals and the Wiccan Rede. Morals are talking mainly about the free will, and with the Wiccan Rede we have here the full version, which I very much like, because it's not written in every Wiccan book, and I think it's such a basic text to know as a Wiccan, so I'm glad that it's here. It's really giving it that vibe of a proper Book of Shadows or a grimoire. We will get there through the next parts of the book. Then she's explaining here what's the difference between magic and magic with K in the end, which is really lovely. That magic with K in the end talks or is connected to spells, rituals and potions. And also in this chapter we will find a little bit on the moon phases and the days connected to different planets. Then there's several Wiccan paths. I was really fascinated by this chapter because I really liked the list of different Wiccan parts and different Wiccan paths and different Wiccan branches, let's say, because except Gardnerian and Alexandrian Wicca, which are the basic ones together with Sikh's Wicca, there's also loads and loads more like Dianic Wicca, Draconic Wicca, Solitary, Eclectic Wicca, Green Wicca and Afro Wicca in the end as well. Quite interesting list. Then we have a little bit here on the Book of Shadows and its difference from the grimoire, and here's also a lovely list what to write into your Book of Shadows, and then also what to add. Not just to write and draw pictures, but also add some flowers, add some feathers, and add some symbols and other things. So here in the list of what to add is a protection charm, the Wiccan Rede, deities you work with and connect with, notes about a path or tradition you may have chosen to follow. Then there's much more, but also among others divination information, dreams and interpretations, or magical workings and your way of doing things. Very nice. Deities, another part, is quite a brief list of different pantheons. We have here Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Celtic, Norse, Slavic, Japanese, African pantheons. Just a few deities from each, which are well known, just with a little bit of information, just the basics. But enough for the beginner practitioner to find, oh yes, I like this god because, or this goddess because he or she is focusing on the specific area that I would like to work with at the moment, and I like this kind of cultural background or this kind of mythology, so I will research more on this specific deity and I can go more in depth with that. And then we are getting into mental health benefits. This is the most beneficial and the best part of the whole book, in my opinion. So here she's writing that Wicca can actually help you a lot with your mental health issues. I would add an information that it is mainly for the normal, common mental health issues. Wicca will definitely not help you out from some serious illness of your psyche or of your soul, but it can definitely help you to cheer up your day and to get you into some kind of practicing, in some kind of meditation, in some kind of walking towards the peace of your mind. Indeed. So there's a little bit about how can it help to people who are highly emotional, who are overthinkers, who are struggling at the moment because of the circumstances of their life. So I really like this chapter, and obviously the responsibility lays always on the person themselves if they need medical help or if their spiritual journey is enough to help them in case that they have some kind of struggle. There's also 2 pages or 1.5 pages on confidence. I didn't find this part to be deep enough. I would go a little bit more in depth. Meditation. Several types for meditation, which I really appreciated. There's a bit on the basic meditation, that is the starting point for each of the other ones. And among those are moon meditation, object meditation, and mantra meditation, and finally breathing meditation. Self-care, another part that I completely, totally love. Learning to take time for yourself is extremely important indeed. How to make time for yourself. There's also tips how to do that, which is absolutely great. She always gives some opinion or gives some advice, but she also helps you immediately to reach that kind of thing, to go for it. Creativity is very important for our spell work, for our tools, for our altars, and for the decor. So that's another thing that I really much like. And she's writing here, spellwork is another extremely creative element of Wicca. Performing magic is inventive in itself and has elements of self-expression too. Everyone finds their own methods. And that's true, and that's how our essence can travel through the magical field and magical universe towards our goals. Kindness. Probably my most favorite chapter of this lovely book. Kindness helps accuracy of spells, says Harmony Nice, which is quite a great thought to think about. It helps to balance your inner peace, it helps to positivity. And she's also writing here 5 ways to be more kind. Among them are: try to understand, don't fight bad with bad, be more kind to all living things, understand diversity, and stop dealing with your problems in an unhealthy way. Really, really nice. That's the end of the second part of this book, and then we are getting to the third part and how to get started. First of all, there are Wiccan holidays and the Wheel of the Year. And here's always some correspondences and the activities connected to Sabbats, and then there are also Esbats based on the normal calendar, based on like January, February and so on, and not based on when are they coming, first, second, third Esbat in the year. Here again we have a lovely, lovely, lovely illustration before the Esbats start. And then when we will finish this part, we are getting to altars and magic tools. Altar is for Harmony a place which is absolutely safe for us, where we can do our practice, be ourselves, meditate, and just chill and enjoy our life and enjoy our spirituality and enjoy being just with ourselves. That's really nice. What I slightly disagree with is here the article on temporary or permanent altars, because I guess that Harmony sees the permanent altar as the goal or a dream of every single witch, and those who are living in the closet or who just don't have space, they are using temporary altar. My altar, my personal altar, is portable, and it is really crucial to me to have portable altar. So it could be called temporary because some items are changing time to time, and for some spells I'm just bringing another types of things or tools. But the main thing is that my choice was to choose temporary or portable altar rather than the permanent altar in some specific place in my home. And there's nothing wrong on that, and I would like everyone to know it, that to have temporary altar or altar that you just unpack here and there based on what you need might be or might have a lot and loads of positive aspects on your witchcraft, on your practice. For me, it's mainly that I'm just traveling to the woods every time when I'm going to do a ritual. So the permanent altar at home, for me, the safe haven, I have rather as my office and as my desk where I'm reading and writing and creating. But for my spiritual practice, I like to go outside and I like to take my altar with me. Anyway, another little thing here in this chapter on the magical tools is that she's mentioning here that inverted pentagram is actually not an evil symbol, but it's a symbol of the man in Wicca, while the normal pentagram, the pentagram pointing up, is a symbol of a woman or like a female energy versus male energy. I would say though, when we look on the astrological signs, on the astrological kind of letters for Mars and Venus, that Venus is definitely pointing down and Mars is definitely pointing up. And what I've read in another books on Wicca, the pentagram that is pointing up is the pentagram of the first degree, while the pentagram pointing down in Sikh's Wicca, for example, is the second degree pentagram. So I'd say here this might be some kind of misconception or concept that I simply don't know. We are following with Spellwork, where there's several types of visualization and what to do before you begin, how you should work with your space and with your circle, and how do you do spells. What I really like on the spells is that there's always on the beginning the intent, and then there's the method. For example, among those spells is Forgiving Self-Love spell, which is again for the peace, for the inner peace of the witch, and it's really important and I very much like it. So the visualizations are here the basic method, fire method, the bowl method, and the meditation method. Then there's casting circle and the spells. Following with colors and several more chapters on like a basic correspondences, by which is this book kind of a book of shadows slash a grimoire of correspondences. There's correspondences of colors, crystals, different herbs, and other things. There's also two alphabets, the witchy alphabet and the runic alphabet, and a little bit on astrology as well. For each of the signs there's a little bit information and a little bit of correspondences. Then nearly the last part is on small changes, which I very much like as well, because nowadays the world is really hectic and your practice might be something that you really don't have much time for, and you definitely don't want it to drain you from even the leftovers of your energy that you have. You want exactly the opposite thing. You want it to charge you. And here is like a several lovely small changes that you can add to your life to just live as a practicing witch and develop your spirituality, develop your spiritual journey. Celebrate the Sabbats and Esbats. Create a basic altar, read, practice spell work, find your path, keep a journal, join the Wicca community. And here is also a few words of caution, which is really, really good. It's a faith, not an aesthetic. Don't let the power get to your head. Don't bite off more than you can chew. And beware negative energies and shadows. The shadows are not specified here. I suppose that it's just like shadows, like bad energies, ghosts, and this kind of stuff, rather than the Jungian type of shadow work, which we do in a more advanced type of witchcraft. Here's also a chapter on when others don't accept your fate. What are you supposed to do? What I remember from it is like, just don't wing with it in front of others. Don't push others to believe in the same things and believe that your way is the only right way, and so on. There's also something on the Wiccans living in the city. What are actually the good aspects of, or positive aspects of living in the city versus of living outside of the city, somewhere in the nature. Also, here's a bit of advices on working in small spaces if you don't have much space for your witchcraft, or on finding a coven. And then here's last few words, just in the very end of the book, and she's writing here: the foundation of Wicca will always be as pure and as gentle as it was at its beginnings. Even in this modern world, our beliefs will always be to follow the sun, worship the moon, talk to the trees, listen to the plants, swim in the water, light the fires and breathe the air. For as long as our earth is still spinning, blessed be. And this is a really, really lovely ending of the book. As I said on the beginning, I was really well surprised by Harmony Nice and this lovely book that she wrote. I really like how brief but straight to the point it is. I like that it gives loads and loads of information on self-care, self-love, and practicing from the heart. So that's my review on this book. I would definitely recommend it to beginners in the practice and in the craft. And see you soon.